Now the Panthers are in a basic cover two. So as a cover two corner, if we're just breaking it down from the very beginning, you want to be at 5 yards. You want to have a square stance, and then you want to be outside leverage. We want to force the inside release, because if he gets outside, it's a further distance for our half field safety to get over the top for that hole shot. We do a good job of being outside, making the receiver go inside, but the biggest thing is you want a collision, because even though we get him inside, if he's unopposed, he's just going to bend right back outside, and a good quarterback is going to be able to find him in that hole. So my suggestion here, keep everything the same at 5, be outside leverage, but stay more patient here and have tighter steps. So you see how we're kind of hopping right here? You want to step replace. So small step with this foot, and then a similar small step here. And it doesn't seem like much, but it makes a huge difference when we need to redirect like we do here. See how we get caught in the air? So as he's going inside, we have to kind of open the gate, and it opens up the free release. So collision right here is the only thing I would change. And then be ready to sink as you're eyeballing 2 to the quarterback here. Be ready to sink. If 2's vertical, we need to automatically sink, keep sinking, and of course be able to judge the ball better than this. I love this play here. I love the second half of this play, I would say. Bad eyes. All right. I forget the situation, but I think it's towards the end of the game. At no point should we be caught with bad eyes and allow a receiver to get behind us at the end of the game. In reality, this should be a touchdown. I don't know what happened at the line of scrimmage, why this ball was short. Maybe he was on a different read, but I do like this part, the second half. We know we messed up, so we need to close space. We're not in phase. Not in phase meaning we're not within an arm's distance of the hip. So close space, close space, close space. As we're closing space, we're looking for any type of sign on where that ball is. The fact that the receiver is not running full speed tells us that this ball is 1, late, 2, that is going to be underthrown, because he would not be breaking his stride if that ball was towards the end zone over the shoulder here. So as we're looking to close space, we're reading body language. He's slowing down, and then once we know it's a back shoulder, we want to get chest to chest, close space to the hip. Deceleration tells us underthrown ball, which essentially is a back shoulder for us. Get chest to chest, get your eyes back. We do a good job of high pointing. This play, we have a corner versus a tight end. Not to say that tight ends aren't skilled. They're definitely skilled, but you usually don't get the wiggle at the line of scrimmage versus a tight end. So I like what the DB's doing here. He's just playing soft press, because again, you're not really going to get too much shimmy at the line of scrimmage from these big guys. They're just going to give you one move and then get into the route. So they want you to be physical right away so they can use their strength. So he goes with the soft kick to feel out the release, and then he goes with the delayed jam right here. And again, a bigger receiver, you're not really going to be able to keep him there too long, but we do delay him. We do get a piece of him here. He fights off, and we do a good job of not holding that there, because if we hold that there, it's going to put us in trouble. Again, remember that deceleration I was telling you about? All right. The fact that he's slowing down and his back shoulder is disappearing towards the sideline, that'll tell you the back shoulder is coming. Continue to close space. We're not comfortable enough to look back because there is a bit of separation there, but we do a good job of playing the hands, knocking that arm a little bit to throw off. I love the eye discipline by the safety here, and this is one of the easiest things to do. Like, this doesn't take any talent. It literally just takes discipline. That's why it's called eye discipline. Whenever guys are behind like this and they know the ball is coming, or they feel the ball is coming, their first reaction or instinct is to look back. What I tell my guys all the time, if you're running a race, all right, let's say you're running a race from here to the sideline. Would you be faster running the race looking away from the finish line, so looking here, or would you be faster looking at the finish line, like every sprinter in the Olympics? All right, they don't look away unless you're in Usain Bolt and you're already winning the race, but we're clearly losing the race here. So good eye discipline to close space to the hip, and look at the burst. Look at the burst. So as he's looking, he's not full speed, all right, because he's trying to have enough room to where he can catch this ball in bounds. He can't be full speed and outrun the space that the quarterback can throw him open. Meanwhile, while he's about 80, or I would say 90, while he's 90, we're 100. Look how much space we close. And then once we get to the hip, look how we look back. It's simultaneous. Close space, close space. As soon as we get to that hip, look at his head. This is perfect. All right. The start may not be perfect. You can lose the start and win the finish. Good eye discipline here. I like this play because whenever you're guarding a post, and I don't know what this is, I mean, it could be man, could be cover 3, could be quarters. It really doesn't matter. But we get a deep vertical, and then he kind of bends it off skinny. This is where you want to be. You want to get to the high shoulder. So a lot of guys ask me, what's the high shoulder? This is the high shoulder. This would be the low shoulder, or this would be the upfield shoulder. All right. So some coaches may call it different, but this is the high shoulder, upfield shoulder. We want to get to this because this will lead us to the landing point of the ball. So as soon as we get here, we're in a comfortable position to now look and play that ball. So if he brings both hands up, this back arm is the arm that's going to be able to secure the catch. So most one-handed catches come from this arm right here. Yes, in today's world, you see guys reaching up with this this downfield hand here, but that's why those catches are so spectacular. Like, it doesn't happen often. All right, that if they can make that catch, they can make that catch. But on these deep post routes, how you got a post route, close space to that upfield shoulder here puts us in perfect position to play the ball, locate the ball, potentially get a strip, get an interception here. He's unable to play it. I don't like the tug of the jersey here. I think that's what happened. Amazing this ref didn't see it. But I do like that we get to the upfield shoulder. I just wish we would have finished cleaner here. Double move. All right, we're outside leverage. I don't know if 82 is a tight end or a receiver. He looks like a tight end to me. But we're tight to the formation. We should be outside leverage in my opinion. I will say that we don't have the best eyes here. I would like for us to drive the target a little more. The only reason why this saves him, in my opinion, is because of the angle he takes. Because he takes a good angle, so because he has his eyes back and he's taking an angle this way, it saves us when the receiver turns up because now our body's already in position. So you don't want to undercut this at a 45-degree angle, especially with poor eyes. So you don't want to go this way. Does a good job of going 90 here, trying to get to this upfield shoulder again. And then when he turns up, so you see how he punches the hip and it prevents the receiver from kind of cycling through with his steps. So he punches at the hip. This hip never really is able to get full extension. So watch the hip. Never really gets full extension on the hip. Slows him down, allows us to stay in phase. This is a veteran move. A lot of people can't pull that off. And a lot of times if you get a good receiver and he's ready for that, if he knocks that arm down, you're done. So I honestly don't suggest this for the younger levels unless you're teaching it correctly. But I would suggest if you're here, just turn and use your body. Like what you're trying to do with your hand, I always tell guys, you can use with your body. I just don't like the Heisman or the reach. Use your body, but he does a good job slowing him down. Closing space because we know the ball's coming. We're not quite in phase. Closing space. Again, once we get to that hip, we get our head back. So that's a reoccurring theme with this video. I didn't mean it to be, but you see it here. Closing space with eyes to the receiver, getting to the hip, getting our head back, locating the football. And then I like this part too because when we see the ball, we realize that, oh man, that ball's out here. That ball's out here. And I'm not on top, so I'm going to get my eyes back and look to play the hands. I love it. This one's simple. We're going to pay attention to James Bradberry. I'm not a fan of being in the end zone at all when we're playing any type of coverage as a corner. Simply put, all they need to do is get to the end zone to score a touchdown. Even if you're playing some type of combo coverage where you're supposed to wheel off for the 7, I would still be in between him and the end zone. So he's 4 yards to get there. I would be right here. Literally right here, shuffle, shuffle. He never gets to the end zone if we're in between him and the end zone. He literally just turns around for a touchdown. But I see guys make this mistake all the time. Stay out the end zone, shuffle along the end zone. Actually, now that I think about it, he's probably off so they can play at different levels. Because if he's at the goal line and he's at the goal line, then they can get picked. So maybe that's what it is here, but I would still not be this deep. We're lining up, I would say, 1.5 yards in the end zone, and then we're giving ground this way. So now 1.5 yards just went to 2, versus if we stay at that yard and we shuffle, see how he turns into where we were? He literally turns into where we were. Look where we are. We're here. Turns into where we were. We should be able to collision this, but they get an easy one. Tyreek Hill. Now you're gonna get this type of coverage versus Tyreek Hill. You're pretty much playing inside trail. So I'm gonna take my stab at the line of scrimmage. I might get hands on, forcing the outside release. All right, and then I'm just gonna look to play trail, because you're usually going to play outside if you're playing man in the slot, because look at the hash, he's so tight, so there's a lot of space. But this is just how guys are playing them. They're gonna go a stab at the line of scrimmage, inside trail, because the safety's gonna be over the top. We're watching that hip. You don't want to be too far from him on an inside trail, because he could still beat you, but you want to be an arm's length away from that hip. Keep your eyes down on the hip. Take away the inside. Do not get finessed by the outside nod. Anticipate that. I would say Cooper Kupp is really good at this, but stay inside, and then we will look to slice late on the outside breaking route. Close space. See how much space he still created, because you gave a faster guy a free release. This is the caveat to this technique. So we do need to do a bit of closing space here. There's about 2.5, 3 yards separation. That's never good. Close space, close space, close space. And then we get our head back a little early. For me, I would like us to continue to close space, but he does take a good angle as we're getting our head back. So he understands the angle here. He understands that he has safety help over the top. So he gets his head back early. Does a good job of affecting the catch point here. You see how we put the forearm on top of Tyreek Hill's forearm, so he's unable to fully extend. So we do it simultaneously. You can do this when your head's back for the ball. We're not grabbing. Our forearm is just on top of his. We're not using our fingers to lock anything. All right, veteran move here. Good job.